I'm a little early, but then I had come, so I thought there is no reason why uh, I should wait outside. All right. In the meantime, if there is anything but before I go ahead, there was only one or two clarifications. Some of you were asking me about it yesterday, so I thought I would rather start clarifying it quickly. So one is that when you see the views of C.H. Hanumantrao, and when you see the views opposite to it, like the case against sealing, now they are given by two set of people. All right, so don't get confused between the two. ये मत सोचो कि जब दोनों बातें सच कैसे हो सकती हैं. दोनों बातें सच हो सकती हैं depending on which sample size you pick and depending on which state you pick up, which kind of data you are taking. So it's possible in some cases, like say for example, if I compare 5 to 10 hectares with above 10 hectares, all right, then in that case, Hanumantrao ji showed that productivity is more for 5 to 10 hectares. But imagine if I go below 5 hectares, if I go into a 2 hectare, 3 hectare kind of a thing, then in that case, if that kind of a thing happens, then in that case it is very difficult to conclude that necessarily it will be having a higher productivity. You understand that? So अगर आप कहोगे नहीं, smaller land holdings have higher productivity, but that's not universally true. It was true in context of India in certain situations with respect to particular size of land holdings. All right. So that was one factor that I needed you to, and many of such things will happen when we study more economics on Indian economy part, that there can be two seemingly opposite views that can look fine when you see them from different points of view. So that was one thing that I wanted you to get clarified on. Then there are I had one more request, not a very strict request, but a general request. I hope most of you will agree with me also that unless it is not very essential, if we can avoid posting message on the group. मैं आपको गैग नहीं कर रहा, आपके फ्रीडम ऑफ स्पीच को भी नहीं रोकना चाहता, बट मैं कभी कभी देखता हूँ, बिकॉज आई एम नॉट अ फोन फ्रीक. I am from a generation when these phones didn't exist, and I have practiced not to live with the phone majorly at many points of time. तो कभी कभी मैं 3 घंटे 4 घंटे बाद फ़ोन उठाता हूँ, तो आपके ग्रुप में कुछ 200 250 300 मैसेज मुझे मिलते हैं, जिसमें कुछ मैसेजेस तो हाय होते हैं. तो वो मुझे थोड़ा आश्चर्य लगता है कि तुम किसको हाय बोल रहे हो या दिल की हाय निकल रही है. बट एनीवेज, जोकिंग, आप ही लोग मेरी सोसाइटी हो. अभी ऊपर भी मैं कुछ लोगों से बात कर रहा था, मैंने उनको यही कह रहा था दैट माई सोसाइटी इज माई स्टूडेंट्स. माई जनरेशन एट टाइम्स डजंट गेट मी, सो मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम्स दे डोंट गेट मी. सो बट कमिंग टू माई पॉइंट, तो इसीलिए मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि मेरा सजेशन ये था, इफ यू हैव अ डाउट then definitely you can post it on the group and somebody will answer it. But other than that, if it is just for the talk, या जैसे अगर तुम कुछ banking में पढ़े या public finance में पढ़े, gradually as we go ahead in the syllabus, you will definitely be taught everything. Believe me, I try my best that whatever I know, you should know from UPSC's point of view. Of course, whatever I know has been whatever I have known for the last many years in economics now. So obviously I can't give all of that to you, but I try my best that whatever I know, I try passing it on to all of you. So by the time you guys will leave, I assure you, you will be much better. I hope you are already feeling some progress, but by the time you leave, you will be much better off than what you joined. But कुछ चीजें हैं जिनके आंसर्स देने थोड़े मुश्किल हैं, जैसे क्रिप्टो करेंसी को अभी एनालाइज करना, या जैसे अगर आप सवाल पूछोगे टैक्सेशन पॉलिसी पे अभी, बिकॉज द आंसर्स एंड द क्वेश्चंस बोथ विल बी हाफ बेक्ड. अभी ना तो आप सारे थ्योरीज जानते हो, ना मैंने सिखाया है, मैं ये भी नहीं जानता आप कितना जानते हो. सो इन दैट केस गिविंग एन आंसर एट टाइम्स ऑल्सो बिकम्स डिफिकल्ट. सो मेरा ये सजेशन है, अगेन इट्स अप टू यू टू चूज इट, बट माई सजेशन इज दैट ट्राई पोस्टिंग ऑन द ग्रुप. और ये मैं खुद से नहीं कह रहा, आप में से बहुत लोगों के मैसेजेस भी आए मेरे पास अलग से, जो मैं समझ सकता हूँ. दैट यू नो व्हाट हैपेंस इज समटाइम्स important messages get hidden up. That something important is there, and unfortunately you cannot see that because there will be too many messages across. तो अगर कोई ज़्यादा मैसेज इंपॉर्टेंट है तो तुम कर सकते हो, नहीं तो आपके पिछले बैचेस को मैं एक सलाह देता था जो वो मानते थे, मैं आपको भी दे सकता हूँ। आप चाहो तो कोई एक आदमी लीड ले सकते हो, एक इनफॉर्मल ग्रुप बना लो, उसका लिंक शेयर कर लो, मैं भी ज्वाइन कर लेता हूँ उसे, मैं भी उसमें हंसी मजाक करता रहता हूँ। ऑनेस्टली आई एम टेलिंग यू, आई डोंट जज यू, माई सन्स कॉल मी टू, बात करते हैं, मैं आपको बस कन्विंस करने के लिए कह रहा हूँ, उम्मीद है कि जरूरत नहीं है लेकिन फिर भी कन्विंस करने को कह रहा हूँ। Couple of months back, not even couple of months, I think, yeah, or maybe couple of months back, my elder son was coming from a date with his girlfriend, and I was jogging the same route. और ये मुझे देखकर सकपका गए, मुझे पता था that he has a girlfriend, he's in college now, so it's expected. I had one when I was in school. So, and I can say that openly because I married the same person, so I am safe. बहुत लोगों के होते हैं स्कूल में, वो डर के मारे नहीं बोलते कि आप वाइफ कोई और हैं, लेकिन थैंकफुली मेरे साथ ऐसा कुछ नहीं हुआ। सो आई मैरिड द सेम पर्सन, सो शी इज विथ मी नाउ। तो मैं उनको, तो हम तो एक दूसरे को 10th 11th से जानते थे, तो मुझे उसमें कोई आश्चर्य की बात नहीं थी, और जो वो उन्होंने मुझे खुद ही बता रखा था, बट स्टिल आई हैड नेवर सीन द पर्सन एंड मे बी शी हैड नेवर सीन मी, एंड आई गो अर्ली मॉर्निंग फॉर अ जॉग सो दैट आई कैन रिमेन अ लिटिल फिट। और वो, मैं इधर से आ रहा हूँ, वो इधर से आ रहे हैं, एंड इट्स अ नैरो लेन बिहाइंड माई हाउस, and this fellow now is not even looking at me. ये बातें करता हुआ इधर देख रहा है, नीचे देख रहा है। I felt, अच्छा मुझे भी बड़ा awkward लगा कि मैं अचानक U-turn मारूं, उल्टा भाग जाऊं। That doesn't make any sense that I see him and now I take a U-turn, run away. People will think, what happened to him suddenly? Why is he turning around? So, and we were hardly 200, 300 meters away, so I couldn't even think what has to be done. Now, in the meantime, jogging, we came around together. So I was almost 30 meters to him. And I see that this fellow is still not looking at me. I felt, I felt very awkward. कि फादर और सन ऐसे निकलेंगे, एक दूसरे को हेलो भी नहीं बोलेंगे, ऐसा थोड़ी होता है। तो जब हम करीब 10 मीटर पे थे, मुझे लगा अब ये देखेगा तो नहीं ऐसे। तो मैंने इनकी तरफ देखा, मैंने कहा, और बेटा पापा कैसे हैं? तो फिर इनके समझ में आया कि अच्छा, थिंग्स आर नॉर्मल, ये बूढ़ा आदमी गुस्सा नहीं हो रहा है। तो ये भी भाई साहब मुझे देख के कह रहे हैं, लुकिंग एट मी एंड सेइंग, ठीक है अंकल। When he came back home, I caught it as uncle. अभी अंकल पैसा बंद कर रहे हैं। But jokes apart, I believe that, and I'm a firm believer that the more you guide things rather than controlling them, better you get the result. Even with you all, my students, I follow the same path. I never try controlling you because that's not the purpose and that's not the objective. But I do try being a guide where you can trust me, come over to me, share things that, sir, I am struggling here. What do I do? And believe me, whatever you tell me remains with me. I forget it. And I'm actually programmed to forget it. कभी कभी ऐसा हुआ भी है, आप में से कुछ लोग कभी कभी फैमिली के क्लोज आ जाते हो कुछ सालों बाद। मेरे एक स्टूडेंट हैं, अभी IAS ऑफिसर है, उन्होंने मुझे कुछ बात बताई थी, एज यूजुअल मैंने किसी को नहीं बोली, मैं चुप था, नहीं बताया कुछ। नाउ ही वाज टॉकिंग टू माय वाइफ वन डे एंड ही अज्यूम्ड दैट Kiran would be knowing about it, and he said, ma'am, so this happened in my life, and Kiran said, okay, when did this happen? And I said, sir, didn't tell you, and I was also sitting there. I said, I forgot. What do? I have to remember so many things in economics, and my brain is a smaller one. After all, I am an evolved human, so can't keep so many things. आप हंसिए मत, मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ, ये मेरा मजाक है एक। जब भी कोई मुझे परेशान करते थे कॉलेज डेज से, जिनको मैं सीधा बेवकूफ नहीं कह सकता था, तो उनको मैं कहता था तुम बड़े दिमाग के आदमी हो, क्योंकि ह्यूमंस जैसे जैसे इंटेलिजेंट होते गए, उनका दिमाग छोटा होता गया। तो जो बड़े दिमाग के आदमी है वो मेरे शब्दों में मूर्ख है। तो इसीलिए मैं उनको बोलता था हमेशा, जब भी कोई कॉलेज डेज भी कोई होते थे, हर जगह होते हैं, इरिटेंट्स आर एवरीवेयर, तो उनको हमेशा बोलता था, यार क्या बड़ा दिमाग है तुम्हारा। इतने बड़े दिमाग का सामना मैं कर ही नहीं सकता। वो बड़ा खुश होकर जाते थे, वाह मेरे दिमाग का लोहा माना, उनको पता ही नहीं मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ। बट एनीवेज, सो बड़े दिमाग के आदमी, मुझे उम्मीद है आप लोग नहीं रहोगे, बट मेरा दिमाग छोटा है, मैं कोशिश रखता हूँ उसकी। सो आई डोंट कैरी थिंग्स, बट अगेन आई रिपीट ऑन अ सीरियस नोट, that just make sure that you are sticking to, like this exam. I'll just finish myself in 2 minutes, but I need you to know this. This exam brings a lot of unnecessary glamour to your life. All right, many people around you will suddenly start valuing you a little more. I'm not talking parents, they never value us. My parents are gone now, but face पर तो कभी value नहीं मिला. Mom से हमेशा, always she would keep me grounded. But anyways, now she is gone. Maybe she has passed it on to my wife now. So, so she keeps telling me things that ideally I would not like to hear. But anyways, but coming to my point, so be grounded. Don't get bothered about the result that will happen after the exam. Right now, the process is very important. If you are involved in the process, then the result will not bother you. And the second part of glamour is telling the world, look how much do I know. Don't tell the world. Chinese never told the world that what they will do till they did it. Till 2010, they would keep saying we want to grow peacefully. We want the world to support China in removing poverty. We believe that peaceful existence should be for everyone. And from 2011, they start making South China Sea shoals. Once they realize they're grown up enough. So if you're grown up enough, अगर तुम achieve कर लोगे, तो तुम्हें नहीं बोलना पड़ेगा. और अगर तुम्हें बोलना पड़ रहा है, तो तुमने achieve नहीं किया है. You be sure from my side. I have seen a lot of life. Believe me on that. People who actually achieve don't have to speak things. The world speaks about you, and the world can at times speak foul about you. वो अभी भी हो सकता है. कोई तुम्हें उल्टा कह देगा, कुछ बेकार बात कह देगा. ये मेरा suggestion है. भाषण मत मानना, but apply this. It will help you. If somebody is talking foul about you, bless them to develop more humanity. Believe me, it sounds big, but it helps. Don't get irritated, don't get bothered. They are speaking foul about you because somewhere they are very disturbed inside. Very disturbed. Otherwise they wouldn't be. जब तुम अच्छे मूड में होते हो, कहाँ कोई गड़बड़ भी कुछ करता है, say if you are in a good mood, somebody does a mistake, तुम भी यार हा हा करके बात टाल जाते हो ना, because you're in a happy mood. When you are in a bad mood, sad, worried about something, then even a small error by someone you explode. हम विस्फोटक पदार्थ बन जाते हैं. So that is what will give you the idea. To imagine those who are always in a bad mood, are always explosive, how badly cursed they are. That there is nothing around them which is giving them happiness. And therefore they are reflecting what they have. So if somebody tells you you are a good for nothing, no, bless from inside, God make him something. क्योंकि वो खुद कुछ बनेंगे तब तो दूसरे की वैल्यू समझेंगे. अगर मैं खुद कुछ नहीं हूं तो तुम्हें भी कुछ नहीं समझूंगा. You are a good for nothing. You will hear teachers saying this subject is very tough. They are teachers who found the subject very tough. जब खुद पढ़ रहे थे टफ लगता था. देखना कॉलेज डेज में हमें मिले थे एक दो, तुम्हें भी मिले होंगे. क्लास में घुसते ही तुम लोग पास नहीं करोगे, इस सब्जेक्ट में कोई पास नहीं करता, तुम्हारी खैर नहीं. समझो वो पास नहीं किए थे अपने टाइम पर, उनको 2-4 साल लगे थे. तो लगे थे तो बेचारे क्या करेंगे, उनको 1-2 साल और लगेंगे, तो वो गुस्सा है, नाराज हैं. Develop this habit. In this exam again, it will help you a lot. The more you are in control of yourself, the more you are not talking foul, the more you are blessing others and yourself, success then follows. It is automatic. You know, so I know at your age you are too young to maybe inculcate this. If you can do that, you will do wonders. You know, but if you practice it, it can be done. I had started practicing it from very young days. My grandfather used to tutor me a lot on many things. So he tutored me into this. I was a 12-13-year-old, you know, and 11-year-old rather. And there was a debate I had with one of my cousins. And I used to love my grandfather a lot. So I would be at times, you know, I would try impressing him. So I had a debate with my cousin, and he was my age, and I demolished him in the debate entirely, you know, because I knew more than him. And then I saw that my grandfather got up, he was listening to us, he got up, he came to my cousin, told him 2-3 books, said read these and you will know more about this subject. He didn't even look at me, he left. I felt more you know, aggravated. I said, what is this? I have done so well and he's not even patting me. I went after him to his room and I said, what is this? I spoke so well, I did so well, and you didn't even say a good to me. That's not done. And he looked around, he said, because you didn't do good. I said, what do you mean? I won the debate hands down. And he said, you did a mistake. Knowledge should be to uplift people, not to demolish them. And that I heard as an 11-year-old, and it remains with me till today. That knowledge should be to uplift people. अगर मैं आपसे ज़्यादा कुछ जानता हूँ या आप मुझसे ज़्यादा कुछ जानते हो, तो हम एक दूसरे को मदद करें, rather than एक दूसरे की टांग खींचने के. कि मैं तो तुमसे ज़्यादा जानता हूँ, तुम्हें ये भी नहीं पता. नहीं पता दुनिया में, तुम्हें भी बहुत कुछ नहीं पता. So once we develop this methodology, believe me, in this exam especially, and that is why I'm taking your time and telling you this, in this exam it helps a lot. Because then we are in our zone. We are a happy soul, we are doing good. Even if somebody says something wrong, we smile it off, we say, fair enough, your job, what do I do, and so on. And then just go ahead. And you will see that things work out pretty well. So just go on like that. These are early days that we are together. We are still only, I think, 8 odd classes old. So gradually we will know each other much better. But believe me, on social media, people can write several things. They write about me also. They say I don't teach in the class. But honestly, I'm telling you, it doesn't bother me. Because I know that my real judge would be you, and your affection. So till I'm getting your affection, I'm doing a good job, is what I get to know. The day I will stop getting it, I will stop teaching. That also I have decided. That if my students don't love me anymore, what's the point teaching then? Why be a burden? So that is the way you should also do it. Prepare hard. If you have 2 subjects to study, then 5-6 hours in a day is a wonderful effort. If it is 2 coaching that you are doing. If it is a single coaching that you are doing, then in that case, I think you are in a position where you can put in 9 hours easily and make the most of the weekends, make the most of the offs. अगर किसी दिन छुट्टी मिल गई ना, तो तुम भी छुट्टी मत कर लो. Say, I had a death in my family, I couldn't come. You don't take a leave for yourself. You say, great, I got 3 hours extra. यही टाइम तो ढूंढ रहे होते हो ना लाइफ में. कुछ एक्स्ट्रा मिल जाता कहीं से, मैं दुनिया जीत लेता. जीत लो. ऐसे टाइम्स मिलते रहेंगे. So get your extra time whenever you get it. Sometimes the bus is getting delayed, you are waiting for a bus, use that extra time. So I just thought I'll stop and tell you, but I hope I've made my point to you about the messages on the group. If you are badly needing an answer, put it across. But sometimes I see around 55, 60 messages. So if you could sometimes control it, that will be a great idea. All right, let's see this then. So we will quickly go on with some discussions. I hope you have read on cooperative farming in India. I will come back to some discussions on cooperative farming in India after 91, when I am teaching you the farmer producer organization and all. All right, FPOs and developing collective farming and all. So I'll bring cooperatives over there. But for the time being, I believe that if they give you a question, 150 words on cooperative farming, you should be able to write it. That much understanding you should develop. Chances are very less, but in case. Also, the 2 questions that I had given you last week, I will give you the answer tomorrow and day after tomorrow. All right, I will be giving you answer to those questions. I will also be dictating those answers to you. So don't worry about those things at all. I will, day after tomorrow, on Saturday, I will give you 2 more questions. Those 2 questions will be from this week's discussions. So again, you try mentally framing those answers, and again I will give you the answers next week. For those of you who may not have heard me earlier, I'm assuming most of you would have in my YouTube videos and all, or sitting in front of me. But I'm repeating again, please don't bother about the answers to the questions. For the first 10 weeks, 11 weeks, I will give you 2 questions each, and I will give you the answers to those 2 questions each. After you have written 22 questions with me, seeing, okay, this is the way answer should have been written, then I will give you questions and I will expect you to write the answers. Right now, some of you are asking me to review your answers. I have seen your answers, but I think it's a little premature where you would have written these answers. But I will still give you my feedback on those answers. But if the feedback comes scathing, don't get worried. अगर कभी feedback में मैं तुम्हें criticize ज़्यादा कर रहा हूँ, तो चिंता मत करना. Criticism तुम्हारी नहीं है, तुम्हारे उस answer की है, जो करना मेरा काम है. All right? The criticism is not of yours. तुम्हें तो क्रिटिसाइज करूंगा नहीं कभी, तो तुम कहोगे सर ये मैं क्या करूं, कुछ मत करो, बहुत अच्छा कर रहे हो. बट दैट्स नॉट द सॉल्यूशन. आई हैव टू टेल यू वेयर आर यू गोइंग रॉन्ग. So I'll tell you that, and sometimes your answers, 1 or 2 I have seen, where they are not at all connected to what I had asked. They are something else. So leave it on me. Tomorrow I will be giving you answer 1, and then day after answer 2, and hopefully that should help you in covering upon things. Now from today, what I plan to begin with you is a talk on Green Revolution. Now, other than Green Revolution, other revolutions of agriculture, like Yellow Revolution, White Revolution, then there is Pink Revolution, and there is Blue Revolution. These other revolutions of agriculture, I do with you post 91. Normally, Yellow Revolution I used to do with you earlier, but now what we see is National Mission on Oilseeds, and we see the Palm Oil Mission, the National Palm Oil Mission. So all these are kind of second Yellow Revolution that is coming in. So we will wait for it to mature a little. We will be together till after budget anyways. So let me see what all changes come in budget, what all changes are there, if something is mentioned in economic survey. So then when I will discuss yellow revolution with you in India after 91, I will be able to incorporate everything in those discussions. So at the moment, I will be discussing green revolution with you, and then I will discuss investments in agriculture with you after that. That will seal up the agriculture syllabus for us. All right. From industry, I have already discussed the trends with you. I will discuss with you public sector and private sector's role in India in the pre-91 phase. Role of public sector, role of private sector. I will give you around 500 words on those, about trends before 91. There is one more thing in your syllabus that is on micro, small, medium enterprises before 1991 in Indian industries. That I don't discuss with you in these discussions. That I discuss with you in the after 91 phase, because then I connect it again from pre-91 till today. Like then it becomes a continuous discussion, because then only you will get me better. So small scale industries is something I will not discuss with you at the moment, and agricultural revolutions I will not discuss with you at the moment. Otherwise, trends of GDP, etc., that I have discussed with you. One more thing I will discuss with you, will be occupational structure of India. So hopefully this weekend, by Saturday odd, I think my calculation says that tomorrow and day after, we should be done on the Indian economy part. All right. And then when I'll meet you after Diwali, I can meet you with microeconomics. So those of you who are new to economics, please do make sure that you have read your microeconomics NCERT before you come to the classes, post Diwali. Because by then, microeconomics I'll begin. तुम्हें 100% समझने की जरूरत नहीं है, वो तो मैं समझाऊंगा. But you should have at least seen words like marginal cost, marginal utility, average cost, total production, stages of production, law of variable proportion. You know, these kind of words should not be alien to you. You should not feel, my God, what does this mean? So you should just read through these things. I'm happy on that. And then, as you find time, macro. I gave you the notes on Indian economy, this portion at the moment. I will give you notes on micro and macro together post Diwali. All right, you will get micro and macro notes together, but micro takes us a lot of time in general. I spend a lot of time on it. It's a large syllabus also, and plus we spend some time. So micro will take us around at least 18, 19 classes, if not 2, 3 more. All right, micro will take us that. Yes, the maths part of it, about which I had asked you to fill the Google form, etc. also. We will be conducting it as the micro classes begin for mainly those of you who have not done any maths. And don't worry, I'll just need 1 hour, 1.5 hours of yours to explain to you what all is needed in it. Other than that, we don't need anything. So hardly hour and a half to explain to you whatever will be needed in it. All right? All right, I'll borrow one of yours again. Yes, yes, please. So I'll tell you what, no, you had a question on 12th Finance Commission. 12th Finance Commission they can ask you, because in the syllabus they have mentioned exactly 12th Finance Commission. So they can ask you that, all right? But 5-year plans, I will cover with you even the 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th 5-year plan a little bit, but not much, because I don't see the UPSC asking you a question from 5-year plans now, but they can ask you questions from what happened in India after 1991, where the planning part comes in. If you ask me from planning, more chances are they might ask you to comment on centralized, decentralized planning, or controlled indicative planning. You know, these kind of things they just might put for you more. So, that's my job, of course. I'll teach you all that. But planning se ye sawal aane ke chances zyada hai. But I don't think they will ask you pinpointedly about a 10th 5-year plan or an 11th 5-year plan. They have rather been asking you on the time domain, like 2003 to 2009 or 2012 to 2017. So they don't put the plan in picture. They say what happened in this sector in this time period. So they just might put the time period for you, but not the plan. So I think 11th, 12th 5-year plan, you don't need to necessarily read in detail. Plus we have changed the trajectory now. We are not doing planning anymore, which makes the other plans less relevant. But all changes in industry, agriculture, etc., I'll carry it through for you. Now, when we talk about green revolution, okay, thank you for reminding. Yeah, the modern land reforms part I missed with you. So I'll give you some write-up on that. You please take that down. Modern land reform means, you put in a bracket there, policies that can be made in India. When we use this term modern land reform, Yeah, I'm coming to that, Pritha. Thank you. Okay. Americans are actually not dangerous, nor are Chinese. The danger is in power and hegemony that humans seek. Always remember. You know, don't say that Americans are a dangerous country. Like one of your friends says Americans are more dangerous than China as they are hegemonist and so on. Believe me, the real part of human comes out when you are given power. जब आपके पास पावर नहीं है तब तो आप हम्बल रहोगे ही. चारा क्या है? What is the way out? You will be humble when you don't have power. But the real human reflects when you are powerful, and then how are you taking calls? So every country, every system has shown hegemonism when they got power. If we say we are not dangerous, don't be in that confusion. You know, BCCI has the power, and look at their hegemony. You know, so it's not that we Indians are suddenly very pure people that we won't be hegemonistic. We are equally hegemonistic when it comes to us. We don't leave people alone too. So countries remain hegemonists and countries try protecting their hegemony. In the process, they will become dangerous because they will look at global issues from a nationalistic point of view. Why do you think we don't have a solution to climate change, or we don't have a solution to terrorism? Because they are global issues, but countries are looking at it from nationalistic point of view. So if global issues are looked at from nationalistic point of view, how will you get a solution to it? You know, so remember the real trouble is in the hegemony maintenance and so on, and human endeavor to control and command. You know, and that is why it's not only money, it's the human endeavor to do that, and that's what makes things dangerous. You know, that is the reason. All right, worst of the weapons जो हमने बनाए वो animals के लिए नहीं बनाए, एक दूसरे के लिए बनाए. You know, so never forget that the worst weapons that we invented were not to kill the animals, because some people justify saying, oh, what could humans do? They had to invent weapons to survive on this earth. They were surrounded by so many dangerous animals. Well, they were, but the worst of the weapons are not for the animals. They are for humans against humans. You know, so always be careful. The human tendency to expand and control is the real danger. All right. I'm just joking, but sometimes I see some of you willing to be civil servants for that sake only. That worries me. You know, you feel I'll control, I'll have command. Well, I don't know. We'll discuss it, but some other day. Now, coming to this, when you say modern land reforms, these are policies of land reform. Policies of land reform in current time period that can be relevantly applied in India. एक ही जैसी बात है. All right, so about making sure that in India, what do you do currently? That is the point. That today you can't go for land sealing all over again, and you can't go for land redistribution the 1950s way. So what is the best way to do land reform? So policies of land reform in current time period that can be relevantly applied in India. So in case they ask you a question to write 150 words, not on land reforms, but on the current relevance and imposition of land reforms, then you will write these words that I am now making you write. All right, so they are not on land reforms, they are on what should be done or what can be done now in India. All right. Now remember, what can be done now is, just to tell you a few things. One, make sure that land reform is conscious to employment generation. So what we can do is, we can begin with the government controlled land. We can begin with the government controlled land, and this government controlled land can be distributed among people in the self-employment programs that we are running in, say, the rural areas. That okay, don't only give land to the people, tell them, okay, begin some self-employment, like say poultry farming or dairying or a small scale industry. Something like that along with land, and the government can train them into that. That is one way. Second, there has to be more consciousness that the land reform should not be only about from rich farmer to poor farmer, but there should be more ownership that can be given to, say, the women who are around, tribals, people from scheduled caste, so people who are more vulnerable in nature. So land reform cannot only be or should not only be about taking it from the big farmer, giving it to the small farmer. Land reform should be about how do you empower through these land method changes by empowering the vulnerable groups in the society. So those vulnerable groups is what I was telling you. They can be women, they can be scheduled caste, they can be the tribals, and making sure that again they get training that they can use that land properly. Land reform can also be about reviving the wasteland. We have the technology now that a lot of wasteland can be revived. So revive the wasteland and using those wasteland for productive purposes. All right. Land reform can also be about creating a system by which government can buy land from the rich farmers, the large farmers, because many of them are absentee landlord in their villages. They're not going to their villages. They're in the city. Now sometimes 2 generations have been living in the city. They're not going to the rural area. So in land reform, what you can rather do is you can create a system in which the government can buy land from these people. Now why do you need a government to buy land from these people? Because otherwise the caste, creed, class sentiments come in. All right, एक system आ जाता है मन में जहां पर आप बेचना भी चाहते हो अपनी जमीन. You may be willing to sell the land, and there might be somebody who is willing to purchase the land, but the owner of the land may be feeling pressure or facing pressure from people of his same class or people of the same caste or people of the same religion, saying, why do you want to sell land to the others? You understand that? So that becomes a big challenge in Indian context. कि लोग आए कहते हैं, तुम अगर इनको अपना जमीन दे दोगे, तो हमारा भी इज्जत डुबा दोगे, तुम इनको जमीन नहीं दे सकते. You understand that? So many people then resisted. Now, that due to that, a lot of people who are willing to sell the land are not able to sell that land. So what is an easier way out? If government can create a land pool system, where government creates an institution, state governments can take a lead, purchase this land from these people, and then sell this land to the poor at relatively very cheaper rate and for a long period of EMI. For example, I suppose purchase 5-acre land from a rich, and some poor can purchase this 2-acre out of that 5-acre. Suppose the price is 1 lakh rupees. I tell the poor, all right, give me 1,000 rupees on a monthly basis, and over 100 months you can pay this 1 lakh rupees with 0% interest rate. Effectively, we are giving the land at a very cheap, sometimes free of cost to them. Then you will say, sir, why even 1,000 rupees from the poor? That will create sense of ownership, sense of value. Otherwise, if you give the land for free to the poor, the chance is the poor just might end up selling it, making some short money, and never become self-dependent. You understand that? You give me 1 lakh rupee land, I am a poor. I will take that 1 lakh rupee land, sell it to someone for 50,000 rupees, enjoy my life. Then after 2 years, come back to you, please do something. But if you give me a piece of land and tell me, look, I will train you, and I will help you earn money out of it, but 1,000 rupees per month I will expect you pay, and if you pay that for say 100 months, then the land is yours. Then I'm incentivizing the poor to work. Now again remember, don't think that, oh, but there are many poor who cannot even afford 1,000 rupees per month. Of course we know that, but those very poor can't do cultivation also properly, don't forget that. Poor are a big range in India. Poor begin from something like people who are earning on an average 100 rupees per month, 50 rupees per month per capita to sometimes people of our class. हमारे देश में सब गरीब बोलते हैं अपने आप को. अब देखना हमारे क्लास के लोग होते हैं, महीने की इनकम बहुत अच्छी हो सकती है, फिर भी कहेंगे हम तो मिडिल क्लास गरीब लोग हैं. बस मेरी गाड़ी जो है वो बस 10 लाख रुपए वाली है, मैं तो छोटी गाड़ी चलाता हूँ. तो सब गरीब है हमारे यहाँ. But real poor in India also, if you take, and please be very careful on that, even if I consider that people earning up to 2,000 rupees per month per capita can be counted as poor in India, even that number in India is around 50 crore people. So around 50 crore people are living below 2,000 per 2,500 per month. The data that I am giving you is from NSSO 2019-20. So 2,500 per month is not being earned by around 50 crore people. In case you want more relative numbers, I can give you that. I'm sure one number can convince you. 27 crore people in India are not even earning 1,000 rupees per month and hence below poverty line. I'm sure you know this number very often. This is government quoted number. 23% people below poverty line, and 23% population of India is around 28 crore people. So these are people who are not even earning 1,000 rupees per month. If I quote economic survey to you, 2012-13, 2021-22, then 12,000 rupees per month is the average income of India. 12,000 rupees per month, per capita of course, and 72% people in India live below that. They are not even earning 12,000 rupees per month. So that is a country we are. That is why when I see people earning 1 lakh rupees, counting them as poor. Family income की बात कर रहा हूँ, individual income नहीं. Individual income तो बहुत ज़्यादा है. Family income की बात कर रहा हूँ. Even if family income is 1 lakh rupees per month, and you are a family of 4, still the per capita income will be 25,000 rupees per month. You will count in India's top 10% people. वही 10% जो 57% asset लेके बैठे हुए हैं, वो तुम ही हो. So please be conscious that if the rich in India become conscious where they are, then distribution becomes easier in India. But the rich have to become conscious that they are actually the rich around. That is the idea. But anyways, we'll build upon it. Now, how to go? So 4 points I told you. I'll make you write that one by one. So we go for that. In that, first you will write land reforms in modern India. This is just an introduction, and then we will go further. Land reforms in modern India will need a different trajectory. Will need a different trajectory compared to what was valid immediately after independence. Immediately after independence. The objective of land reform in current India should be provision of livelihood, improvement in efficiency, and promotion of equity with respect to asset redistribution. In a bracket you write, land is still the primary asset. Land is still the primary asset in rural India. In fact, if you ask me, land is one of the primary assets in India. I can generalize it and tell you that. But in rural India, it's one of the primary assets. Like in urban India, people are still choosing now financial assets, like say buying shares or buying bonds. Sometimes they also choose gold, etc. But in rural India, land is still the primary asset. You write now, following steps can be taken. Following steps can be taken to promote land reforms in modern sense. And first, you write in that land should be redistributed, make it public land. Public land should be redistributed in a bracket, you write wherever in excess. You can't redistribute every public land, but there are regions in India where there is a lot of public land held, and in excess, public land held by fishery department, public land held by irrigation department, public land held by sometimes port authority. All right, so these are public lands, and sometimes surplus, nothing is happening on these land. They are not of any use. Now they can be used for giving people some rights to cultivate, etc. So you write in that wherever in excess, so be redistributed such that, no, you wrote public land should be redistributed, right? Yeah, public land should be redistributed, close the bracket, then, which you wrote in the bracket, wherever in excess, then you write such that it is connected to government schemes for promotion of self-employment, by introducing training and skill development as an essential part of land redistribution. Second, you write land records should be improved. Land records should be improved by further giving strength to schemes like Swamitva. It is SVAMITVA, Swamitva. This is a scheme that the Government of India initiated with last year's budget. The idea is that this is to incentivize people in rural areas to come and register land in their name. So we will have a proper record set, an electronic digital method of getting the record of who owns which part of land. So in that case, it will be easier to track the actual landowner. So the point is not land reform. The government has never said that they're doing Swamitva for land reform. The point is easier and seamless transaction in land in India. Like today, a lot of industrialization in rural areas doesn't take place because people are worried that if we go to the rural areas and buy land over there, and then tomorrow somebody else comes claiming that this land belongs to me, then it will be unnecessary court case, and therefore then nobody goes and purchases land. With Swamitva scheme, once we have the digitalization of all the records, and once everybody knows, okay, whose land is which, then it becomes easier. All right, it becomes easier because now people can purchase land, sell land, records can be maintained. So all that can be more easily done. So that is the idea, that is the aspect of introducing land reforms here. All right. In the same thing, you write, so schemes like Swamitva, in order to get better understanding of land ownership. Full stop. This will help in faster and better identification of surplus land, comma, land with no claimant. ये कैसे होगा? How can a land have no claimant? I'll tell you ये कैसे होगा. Some people did. This is a very, very funny thing about our country. But some people did Benami transactions. Now, they did Benami transactions. They did not even tell that in their own family. Now they die. Alright. Now even their family members don't know that this land belongs to my family. And sometimes it is in the name of people who don't exist. Now, what is happening on these lands? Somebody is cultivating them, understanding that this has been given to me for cultivation by this family, but actually there is no owner of that land. Now tomorrow if the government keeps insisting on schemes like Swamitwa and registering all the land, there will come out a pool of land. There was a research done by Ashok Gulati and Shweta Saini on this, and they found that that the total pool of land that will come out of this will be nothing less than at least 10 million hectares of land in India. Now if that kind of land comes out in this, then redistributing that land is very easy. Plus some people did Benami transactions. Now they don't have the way to get out of it. So if the government starts formalizing land ownership rights, then many people who know that this is a Benami transaction and this was done with my black money will find it difficult at times to reveal that land. Again, some land gets, gets into government, government control like that. Now they are not very large areas. Nobody says that this is 200 million hectares and 100 million hectares, but whatever it is can be suitably used. All right, that is the aspect here. In the same thing, you write, Shweta Saini, Ashok Gulati and Shweta Saini. You write in that, and it will also discourage future anonymous transactions Anonymous is Benami. All right, future anonymous transactions, comma, all of these will be useful in better redistribution of land. Better redistribution of land. Then you write third, it should be assured that vulnerable groups like women, comma, scheduled caste and tribal population is better accommodated by giving them priority in any land redistribution. Fourth, tenancy reforms can be improved. Tenancy reforms can be improved by removing the clause of surrendering land or transfer of land from owner to tenant because then, as I told you in the class the other day, due to these kind of clauses, people either don't give land on tenancy, or they keep oral tenancy, or they keep shifting the tenant from one land to another. All of that is inefficient. Remove the clause. We are not in those radical days anymore. Understand this. I used a line. I need you to understand this. Different centuries, different years, different times have different fashions, different thinking. So 1950s was a time when socialism was dominant across, the thought process was dominant. It was thought revolutionary socialism will work, uproot people and sow a new seed. Now we realize after all these years that it is not necessary to do all that. We don't need to do all that. What we can rather do, is create more bonhomie in production and consumption patterns. So rather than telling the landlord, we will take away your land and we will give it to the peasant, and having observed in the last 70 years that we have not been able to do it much, a better idea is say that no, there will be no clause of land transfer unless there is no deed sale between the landlord and the tenant themselves. But the clause will be that if the landlord does any kind of written agreement, so for every written agreement, they can qualify for some given subsidy, like 1,000 rupees extra in a PM Kisan, or say 5,000 extra in a fertilizer subsidy. Something like that as an incentive can be introduced. All right, the modalities can be developed, of course, but give an incentive to people so that they have a registered deed for any kind of agreement for tenancy. What that will do is, it will help us identify the tenants better, and that should be the first step. अभी देखो एक बहुत अच्छा काम हम क्या कर रहे हैं. There is a very good thing we are doing, which is when you are running the eShram portal. In that eShram portal, what are we doing? We are telling the workers, come and register yourself if you are an unorganized sector worker. Now, immediately people can think, what's the point? Why should somebody register? You are not even giving them some benefit. No, you don't need to. But even gradually we see that the registration numbers are rising. Now, even if 50% of the unorganized sector workers register themselves, then you create a possibility, that you have better knowledge about them, and then you can help them better. Same thing applies on having knowledge about tenant farmers. Imagine, have you heard of a scheme called Raitu Bandhu? So Raitu Bandhu is in Telangana, where money is being given to all owners of land, 8,000 rupees per acre, isn't it? And that is being given 4,000 per acre per season. So 2 agricultural seasons and 8,000 per annum. But imagine this Raitu Bandhu excludes the tenants. Raitu Bandhu is going to the owners of the land. Tomorrow, if we can have tenancy records, we can upgrade this kind of a scheme, and we can bring a scheme for tenants that even if you are a tenant farmer, we can give you this much money to buy your raw material and do your cultivation and so on. Now the tenants will not bother the landlord much. The landlord will have an assurance that my rent will come from this land. The tenant won't default on it. And the tenant, who is actually the poor farmer, gets upgraded. So record keeping is important because of that. All right, so that is what should be encouraged. So in the process, you write, in the same thing you write, after a full stop, the stress should be on better records by encouraging by encouraging formal tenancy, so that better social security measures can be taken for the tenants. In fact, we can broaden the idea of personal cultivation and include tenant farming in that. Alright, say that, okay, even if you're doing tenancy farming, it's personal cultivation, we don't bother. Alright, again I repeat, the days of upheaval, major changes, take it from the rich, give it to the poor, we know that they looked rhetorical, they look good, when spoken they look wonderful, but in practice they create a challenge, and in practice they, see, even if you say, no sir, we will bring a revolutionary government, and that government will strip the rich out of their powers, and will give it to the poor. Now that sounds great, आप में से कुछ का खून खोला होगा अच्छे से, वाह. लेकिन implement करने जब जाओगे, when you will go to implement it, the rich are the ones who will control many things around, so they won't give it up so easily. Now what will that create? It will create a lot of friction. And what will be the result? Why did revolution succeed? Why did Russia succeeded, or Stalin's Russia especially succeeded in collectivization of agriculture? Well, they did a revolution. Everybody who was on the side of Tsar was their enemy, and everybody who was a landlord was on the side of the Tsar. It was easy for them to kill people and take the land with easy justifications. Now, you can't do that in a 21st century democracy, which Stalin was doing in Russia in those days. So you got to find something better than that. आपकी इच्छा हो सकती है, नहीं मैं ऐसा कर लूँ तो बढ़िया ही है, लेकिन ये हो नहीं सकता. And I always say that in my GS classes, you might have heard me saying this. In my optional class also, I'm telling you this. Robin Hoods are not good for society. Robin Hoods are problem part. Always remember that. Because I can be a Robin Hood and I can loot the rich of 100 rupees. I can give the poor 20 rupees and 80 rupees neat profit. Plus the praise from the poor and the defense of the poor. Tomorrow if you send somebody to catch me, these guys will help me without realizing that he's actually profiteering at our expense. So they are my pawns, they will help me, I don't have to say anything. I just have to tell them, look, since I am looting the rich and the rich are the ones controlling the system, these guys want to arrest me because they don't want you to rise. Period, done. My loot can continue. Because these guys will help me. But imagine, for how long will I loot? Till there is something to loot. What after that? So always be careful that Robin Hood looks good on paper and in theory because we assume it will be an honest Robin Hood. But in real world there is no guarantee of that there will be an honest Robin Hood. And if there is no honest Robin Hood, then you are in deep trouble. तो इसीलिए system जरूरी है. Extra judicial, extra systemic, वो सुनने में अच्छा लगता है, but वो खतरनाक है. It's dangerous because you don't know where it will end. So that is why even when we talk about this, that's why I told you that when we talk about redistribution, redistribute land by making it systemic, encouraging people to redistribute. And understand this, I'm coming from an understanding level, hopefully you can appreciate what I'm talking to you. आप समझ पाओगे जो मैं बोल रहा हूँ. Today's India has a lot of places where the rich in the village have sent their children to the cities, and those children are not coming back to the village. They have their property in the village, but they're not coming back. Now these children need an escape route. If somebody offers them even 60% of their property value, 70% of their property value, it's possible to drive a deal. You understand that? Yes, but if you will offer them 20% of property value, that's a problem. You know what I'm trying to tell you here? I'll make you write that as the next point. Redistribution can be done by offering a market-based compensation. अगर आप कहोगे 100 रुपया का जमीन में 2 रुपया मिलूंगा, कोई नहीं देगा. Nobody will give 100 rupees land for 2 rupees. But if you say that, look, we will confiscate your land otherwise, but if you want, you can surrender your land to us and we want to redistribute it, and 100 rupees land can fetch you 75 rupees. You will have people who will be willing to come, especially those who are absentee landlords or those who are completely disconnected to their rural areas. There will be some expenditure extra done, but again, it is better than having an ideal world which doesn't function. Understand that. एक दुनिया है आइडियल, बट वो फंक्शनल नहीं है. एक दुनिया है जो फंक्शनल होगी, वो आइडियल नहीं है. So go for the second best if the best is not available. You know, that is the aspect here. So I'm making you write that. You take that as the 5th point. I saw on the online group, one of you was saying that please teach 15th Finance Commission. I was thinking hard but could not connect 15th Finance Commission to agriculture in 1991. So, just joking. So I will teach you 15th Finance Commission, don't worry at all. When I'll teach you public finance, I cannot go without teaching you 15th Finance Commission. So don't worry at all. I don't want you to get worried. आप बिल्कुल चिंता मत करो. मैं सारी क्लास खत्म करने के बाद आखिरी में 3-4 क्लास रखता हूँ जहाँ आपसे पूछता हूँ कि आप क्या पढ़ना चाहते हो. You know, I keep it as that. Honestly, I'm telling you, 2 to 3 classes, I plan it in my mind that after teaching you everything from my side, I tell you, okay, you tell me what all you would like me to discuss. And then whatever you ask me to discuss, I discuss it with you. You know, so I have no qualms on that also. With Ma Saraswati's grace, decent economics is what I know. तो वो मैं तुम्हें सब पढ़ा के ही भेजूंगा. बट कुछ चीज़ें सिलसिलेवार ही चलें. तो 15th Finance Commission I'll teach you when I'll teach you public economics, because when I teach you money banking and public economics, I mix the second and first paper again, because I can't teach you central banking separately and RBI separately. They got to come together. You understand that? Similarly, I can't teach you budgeting separately and Indian government budget separately. They got to come together. So in that case, I mix the two. The paper 2 and paper 1 part. So I will be teaching you 15th Finance Commission. Don't worry at all. All right, you write the next one then. You write, government can offer better compensation to take away land through rural markets, full stop. Higher compensation will encourage higher reporting and less resistance in land transfer. Full stop. This land can then be given to marginal farmers, landless labor, or other small farmers on lease. Lease means you are not selling to them immediately. You are leasing it out. So on lease, which can be converted into ownership, by paying a small amount. Full stop. Easy credit should be made available. Easy credit should be made available to arrange finances. Easy credit should be made available to arrange finances for purchasing land and there should be a condition set that the land purchased by small farmers cannot be resold for a stipulated time period. I hope you get the point. In the beginning I was explaining this to you. Alright, so for a stipulated time period. Change the paragraph and write. This is not a point, this is a conclusion to things that we have discussed. Modern land reforms should also focus on environmental sustenance, and therefore wherever possible it should be assured that redistribution makes agriculture sustainable. When I will teach you India after 91, I'll bring this, but quickly I'll tell you, ये last line मैंने क्यों लिखवाया आपको. Good research has shown that this research was actually done by a very famous agricultural scientist, Vanderbilt. This was done in South Africa and parts of Central Africa. So what they found was, when your land holding is too large, then people start practicing unsustainable agriculture, especially in poorer countries. Because when land holding is too large, then people tend to overdraw natural resources and exploit the land and so on. And when the land holding is too small, then due to intensive cultivation, putting in a lot of fertilizers, putting in a lot of pesticides, cultivating the land 2 to 3 times in the same year, that leads to overexploitation of land. So what the research found was that the topsoil erosion is maximum experienced in one of these two conditions. So, and also when there are negative incentives, like in Indian case, there are several perverse incentives we have created. Okay, let's do some general knowledge testing quickly. India exported $52 billion worth of agricultural commodities last year. Which was the most sold? Non-basmati rice. Broken rice is different. There are 4 types of rice actually. So there is broken rice, and then there is vapored rice, there is basmati rice, and there is non-basmati rice. Alright, so the non-basmati rice was the most sold, $10 billion approximately. The second most sold crop was on commodity, agricultural commodity, was sugar. And then fisheries. So $8 billion sugar, $10 billion non-basmati rice, and $7 billion fisheries. And all these three are hurting our marine and water table and so on. जब आप राइस एक्सपोर्ट कर रहे हो या शुगर एक्सपोर्ट कर रहे हो तो एक तरह से अपना पानी एक्सपोर्ट कर रहे हो. You're selling your water to some other country. Now, which are the major rice exporting states? It's quite surprising that when it comes to major rice exporting states in India, some of these states are semi-arid, like Punjab. You know, that is a challenge that you have. That Punjab ideally should not be growing rice. Punjab is suitable for other crops, but Punjab grows rice, and that results in one poor choice of cropping in India. Maharashtra growing sugarcane. Another poor choice of crop. So when you, and then add to that the unsustainable farming techniques that are done because farmers are told few things without being trained in it. For example, how much fertilizer to use. It's like popping up those antibiotics. एक बार तबीयत खराब हुई, किसी ने एंटीबायोटिक दे दिया, अब हमें थोड़ी सी तबीयत खराब होती है, उठ के उसको खा लेते हैं. हमें लगता है इससे तो ठीक हो जाऊंगा मैं. ठीक तो हो जाओगे, पर उसकी जरूरत ही नहीं थी बहुत बार. You didn't need it in many places. So it's gradually killing your body. Similarly, these kind of things gradually kill soil. So this unsustainable practice can improve if we can redistribute the land. And I will add more to it when I teach you India after 91, like encouraging farmers producers organization. There is another way. Farmer producer organizations are registered in Companies Act. There will be organizations where farmers, small, 1 acre, half an acre, 2 acre, they can come together. Agricultural commodity producers like small textile producers, small food processors, they can come together. They can formulate a group together, register themselves with the government and qualify then for collective bargaining. कि सब लोग साथ मिलकर बार्गेन करेंगे मार्केट में, सब लोग साथ मिलकर बार्गेन करेंगे लोन के लिए, सब लोग साथ मिलकर बार्गेन करेंगे इंश्योरेंस के लिए, allows them to get better off. That they're together and then bargaining for a loan or insurance or marketing and allows them more heft. Because as a half acre farmer, I may not have a heft. As a very small food processor, suppose I am producing small food processing unit I have in a village where I am converting milk into say curd or something, I may not have a heft. But if I am with 100 other people like me, then together we have some control. So that is one aspect of farmer producer organizations that can gradually be promoted. So this is how government can think about making an assured, system. That government can make sure that people can be better off. So FPOs is one way out. Cooperatives you have learned, but what is the major challenge? What was the major challenge then to cooperatives? Apart from land record, again a challenge. But what is one major challenge to cooperatives? The lack of trust. Papers won't be synchronized. People will be worried that I will lose my land and the rich farmers and the bigger farmers will control the land. How do you create trust? By creating a cooperative, changing the Cooperative Act and making it a one person, one vote system irrespective of the land you are pooling in. You understand that? As soon as you make it like that, that cooperative can flourish much better. So there are methods to improve, but the modern methods, again I repeat, even in the interview if they ask you that should we now go for land sealing and prohibit that, well the Land Sealing Act is there and you don't have to take a stand against it. But you can say, sir, apart from land sealing, don't say let's not go for land sealing. That puts a negative picture. Say that apart from land sealing, other methods can be used so that farmers can get, or the small farmers can get more improvement in their production capacity. I can believe I reach you on this. This is a question I have been expecting for quite some time. So I spent this much time with you that there should be, yes. Okay, so again, when I'll teach you India after 91, I'll come to that. Natural farming, how much helpful it will be to us, a large part of it will depend on how much productivity it can generate. So again, the suggestion there should be that what we should do, because natural farming is not organic. So the idea should be what we should do is make sure that you are doing a pilot project over say 200 districts, over maybe 100 acres or 50 acres in each district, do it for 3-4 years, check the productivity, see the checks and balances that are needed, and if it works well, then we can gradually train farmers and spread it. If it works average, then we can let it continue. If it doesn't work well, in any case the debate gets settled. You understand that? So for everything the methodology has to be that if you're doing something new, bring across by first testing whether it will work or not. All right. Yes, they are trying to encourage zero budget natural farming. I'll discuss it with you sequentially when I'll reach there. But to tell you one thing, again, you can encourage organic farming, you can encourage zero budget natural farming. In any case in India, the only thing you have to be careful about is that you should not impose it. There is a difference between encouraging a policy and imposing a policy. Sri Lankans imposed organic farming. They said everybody has to do organic farming. That's what landed them in trouble. But if government says we will give you 20,000 rupees per acre for 3 years if you practice organic farming, that's up to the farmers to do that then. So in that case, government is not imposing it, it's encouraging people to do that. That's not such a bad step to take. All right. Okay, then today the time unfortunately doesn't permit me to initiate Green Revolution, I mean the topic. So what we will do is we will stop over here today. We will begin tomorrow starting with Green Revolution and thereafter. Please carry your notes. I will be needing them tomorrow also. Thank you. Thank you, all of you. Labor is always the number of hours you put. Laborer is the person. We will discuss how income can be increased in agricultural field. Let me teach you India after 91. Okay, virtual water flow, correct. National Land Monetization Corporation has nothing to do with this, Sandhya, so avoid that. Bye-bye. Non-Basmati, correct. Vanderbilt, Samyak, Vanderbilt. That medium scale is better. That was by Ashok Gulati and Shweta Seni. Yeah. No, difficult in India. Difficult in India because again, you will have to first get records and Jan Dhan Yojana can maybe help. Yes, but again, the problem in Indian context will be that how do you combine that with the knowledge of what people would like to happen. You will need, and plus state governments will have to be made the arbitrator. We can't implement it on a national scale, isn't it? Yeah, I'll just take 1 second. Thank you, Manan, Abhimanyu, thank you. Rent was kept above 33% in Punjab because of higher returns that used to come before that. APMCs is different. We will talk APMC when we are talking after 91, Vikas. कल क्लास के पहले आ जाना, मैं मिल जाऊंगा तुम्हें. अच्छा, जो भी तुमने क्रॉप प्रोड्यूस किया, तुम्हारे अपने कंजम्पशन के बाद जो बच गया, वो है सरप्लस. तो जितना सरप्लस ज्यादा होगा ना, उतनी सेविंग्स ज्यादा होंगी. ठीक है? हाँ हाँ. Could you tell me the? Yeah, so approximately 10 million hectares. 10 million hectares. Yes. Yes. Definitely, if you go for social messaging, it does help telling people. But then it can also help if you create other options. As in, if you create a situation where people get rich outside land, then suddenly the social status part will also start shifting. You can write it in the conclusion that alternative assets can be developed. But actually then it doesn't come with land reform. So, you know, uh, I'll just take 1 second. No, it is not it is the inflation which is eroding its value, Akanksha. It is appreciating globally because interest rate is high. Domestic depreciation means the inflation is eroding its value. You can use class notes, Hemant. Thank you, Vikas. Yes, yes. अच्छा, वैसे मैं एफपीओ बाद में भी पढ़ाऊंगा तुम्हें, बट एफपीओज हैं कि सरकार ने परमिट किया है कि कंपनी की तरह रजिस्टर कर सकते हैं। जो छोटे फार्मर हो गए, छोटे बिजनेसमैन हो गए, वो एक साथ आ जाए, 100 लोग 200 लोग अपनी एक छोटी सी कंपनी बना लें, और अब ये लोग निगोशिएट करें कितना मार्केट होगा, कितना लोन ले लेंगे, किस चीज़ को प्लेज करेंगे। तो करंट सिनेरियो में एफपीओज शुरू हो गए इंडिया में, 3000 से ज़्यादा एफपीओज हैं अब, और सरकार का एम है कि इसको 10,000 कर देंगे इन द नेक्स्ट से 1 ईयर। ठीक है, तो ये एक अच्छा प्रोसेस होगा कि बार्गेनिंग पावर बढ़ जाएगी। सोचो अगर 100 लोगों की 100 एकड़ ज़मीन है, एक आदमी की 1 एकड़ ज़मीन है तो उतनी बार्गेनिंग पावर नहीं है। 100 लोगों की 100 एकड़ ज़मीन है, किसी की 10 फैक्ट्री हो गई, वो 10 लोगों की एक छोटी छोटी फैक्ट्रीज हो गई, किसी एक की छोटी फैक्ट्री है वो नहीं हेल्पफुल है, पर अगर 10 हैं छोटी छोटी भी, तो अब ये लोग अगर मिलकर काम करेंगे तो इनका जो एक कमांड है, जो बार्गेनिंग पावर है, नेगोशिएशन है, वो बेटर कर पाएंगे एज कम्पेयर टू अकेले करने के। नहीं, वो एक अलग चीज है, डिफरेंट, एब्सोल्युटली। नो, दैट वोंट कम हियर। दैट इज एसेट मोनेटाइजेशन। वो पब्लिक सेक्टर के एसेट्स या सरकार के एसेट्स को मनी में कन्वर्ट करने का प्रोसेस। श्योर, 1 सेकेंड लूंगा बस। क्या असाइनमेंट मिला है कृष्ण कुमार, बताओ। Yes, local politicians will always try influencing it. So one policy intervention can be that like a company, they should mention the board of directors, etc. That will help Himanshu. Yes, yes. Government approval route. नहीं, अच्छा, वो पहले कैबिनेट कमेटी ऑफ इकोनॉमिक अफेयर्स के पास जाएगा। कैबिनेट कमेटी ऑफ इकोनॉमिक अफेयर्स उस पर डेलिब्रेट करेगी कि इनको अप्रूव किया जाए या नहीं। अगर वो मानते हैं तो वो अप्रूव करेंगे, फिर जिस भी मिनिस्ट्री के अंदर आता है वो उस मिनिस्ट्री के पास पेपर्स जाएंगे और वहाँ से अप्रूवल मिलेगा। हाँ, ज़रूरत ही नहीं है, क्योंकि आरबीआई के जो अप्रूवल है वो तो पहले ही लेना पड़ेगा अंडर फेमा टू ब्रिंग इन फॉरेन एक्सचेंज। वो तो ऑटोमेटिक में भी लेना पड़ता है। हाँ, ऑटोमेटिक में भी क्या करते हैं, ऑटोमेटिक का मतलब बस क्या है कि आप इंडिया में इन्वेस्टमेंट ले आओ और 15 दिन के अंदर आरबीआई को आपको बताना है कि मैं इन्वेस्टमेंट इतना लाया हूं, तो वो परमिशन तो आरबीआई से लेना ही है। वो तो ऑटोमेटिक में भी और गवर्नमेंट अप्रूवल में। कैबिनेट कमेटी ऑफ इकोनॉमिक अफेयर, CCEA। Tenancy reforms will mean that you are giving tenant more power to cultivate. So redistribution is not only about ownership of land. It is about how much power you have when you are cultivating your land. नहीं, वो तो कंसोलिडेशन है। कंसोलिडेशन मगर रीडिस्ट्रीब्यूशन से लेना देना नहीं था। कंसोलिडेशन तो एफिशिएंसी बढ़ाने की बात थी। Okay, we can go there. That will be a better idea. Online people, I'll see you tomorrow again, 2:50. Thank you.